Okay, and welcome back to Cycle Tech Review. Today I'm going to attempt a bit of chain waxing. Guys at CyclingCeramic were good enough to send us their kit. It basically has the wax, which is this lovely blue colour. Let me just show it to you. There you go, a bit of CyclingCeramic blue wax. Never done chain waxing before. It's totally new to me. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys have, but this is my first time. So I've got a brand new chain. It's been soaking in some white spirits. They said overnight. I got busy, so it's actually been in there for almost 2 days now. But it's a new chain. You probably can't see, but it's quite murky in there. Apparently with new chains it is a good idea to really give them a good clean, because apparently the machining and manufacturing process, there's little bits of metal swarf in there, so you want to get them off because they kind of help make that grinding paste that we're trying to avoid. This little jiffy bag, the guys, is part of the kit that you get from CyclingCeramic. Has a couple of little holes there so you can hang it so it doesn't spill everywhere, because white spirit is very smelly, quite toxic, flammable, so you want to be careful when you're using it. Anyway, that's been soaking overnight. I'm going to drain it off. I'm going to filter it. I've got some little funnels here so I can reuse. I'll put some filters through, run it through a filter, but this is clean, so I'm sure I can use this a few more times with other chains. So I'm going to take that off. Some meths. It's really hard in the UK to get just plain isopropyl alcohol. That's part of the health and safety culture over here. Someone recommended methylated spirits. I reckon it again doesn't leave anything behind, so I'll rinse it off with that. The guys at CyclingCeramic said once you do, oh, that was something big going upstairs. Once you do clean off, that you should let it air dry, or if you've got say a compressed air line, you can blow it off with that, or run neat alcohol through it. Basically you just want to get any kind of coatings or oils off that chain, so you've got a nice clean chain to work on. So I'm not going to make you watch that. I'm going to decant this white spirit, flush it with the meths, dry it, and then I've got my trusty crock pot here. Haven't told the family, but it's downstairs now. I've got a replacement one for them, and I'll show you how that bit works. So this will probably happen over a few hours or days, so I look forward to the outfit changing, hairstyles, who knows. Yeah, let's get on and do some chain waxing. Right, so the chain has been soaking for probably a bit longer than it should be. Let's decant. There's a couple of holes in the bag here, so I have to be careful that I don't pour it out of there. Oopsie. This is probably why you do not want to do this upstairs in the kitchen. It's best to do it in a nice workshop, or just be a bit more careful than what I am. Okay, that's that emptied. Seal that up so I can use it again. Got some gloves here, keep the white spirit off your hands. I think the main problem is if you're using it a lot, it can dry your skin out, a bit of dermatitis, but I mean if you're not doing it regularly, it shouldn't be a problem. Also not the nicest bouquet. So there we go, there's our chain, nicely cleaned off. Just going to give it a bit of a rinse with some meths. Again, you want to be just be aware of where you're using all these chemicals. Make sure you've got some good ventilation. And like I say, as you can see, I'm quite messy. I don't know if you are as well, but there's lots of splashing going on. So work in an area where you're not going to get in trouble for spilling loads of chemicals, like I say, that are a bit toxic, are very flammable. So just choose your workplace carefully. Okay, so let's get that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that hang for a bit. we've got a little, let's do that again, we've got a little hanging device that the guys at CyclingCeramic provide. So let's use that. It's basically a little screw there, and it should minimize the amount of contact with the chain, especially when you're putting it in the wax. So I'm just going to leave that there to drip for a few hours. Let's try and work out about there. There you go. So that will drip for a few hours. Then I'll come back once it's dried off, and we'll do the next stage. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so a few hours later, here's our clean chain strung on the little stringing device that you get with the kit. Hopefully we've got all the gubbins off. You get a small metal tray. I'm going to put the wax, I don't know if you can see that there. I'm going to put the wax, melt it in there, and then basically I'm going to dip that in there. See if I can show you how it's going to go in. Well, hopefully it'll go in. I might have to rearrange the chain a little. Like I say, you're going to be dealing with hot wax and you don't want to be touching it. There's a thing with some companies, they're very precise on their temperatures, because obviously you're melting wax, you don't want it to get too hot. Again, problems that you could get, I don't know, can wax catch fire? Don't know, don't want to find out. But like I said, I'm doing it down in the garage, should be fairly safe down here. Got a lid, so if anything does happen, I can sort of cover it up pretty quick. So what I'm going to do is put the wax in the metal tray, stick it on a medium heat, let it melt. See how long that takes, so I'll let you know how long it takes to melt a block of wax, and see what happens from there. Let's go. Okay, so here we are. It's about an hour later. The wax has melted. It's quite a nice smell actually. It's almost like a roast dinner. There's the chain. We're going to dump that in. I'm not going to touch anything because that is going to be red hot in there. But it's fully going to give it a good submerge through both sides. Get it fully dunked in it and shake it about. You want to make sure the wax is getting into all those little pivots, and not the easiest thing to do. The tray is quite small, and I suppose I could have melted it directly in the crock pot, I guess, but this way you've got quite a nice deep pull. It's quite splashy. I would recommend you be careful with this. No small children or animals around, because that is hot wax. Like I say, it does smell quite pleasant actually. And like I say, using a metal tray does mean you tend to keep the mess fairly minimal, but you won't want to be using this crock pot for anything else. But then I guess crock pots could be picked up fairly cheaply nowadays. I guess that's enough dunking. I don't really know. I'm going to give it one more just to get the last couple of bits. There we go. It's fully submerged, wiggling it about. And now it's time to leave it to drip. Handy set of old handlebars. Always keep your old stuff around. I'm going to put that up there and use that to let my freshly waxed chain drip. There we go, a bit Heath Robinson, but it does the job. Now I'll turn my crock pot off now, don't need that anymore. There we go. So like I said, that took about an hour for the wax to fully melt. Obviously with the cleaning beforehand, It's not something you want to be doing in a rush, but this next stage, the wax will drip off. Then as it cools, it solidifies. And then you end up with apparently you end up with quite like a rigid chain, and you have to run it over something to break the links to get it all supple again. Okay, so we've left it to dry, and as you can see, it is pretty. Let's get some light on it. There you go. You can see, I hope you can see that, the wax congealed. See where it's congealed as like little droplets here. It's fairly warm today, so it's still got a waxy feel to it because it is covered in wax. But what I'm going to do is, they say you have to crack it, but as you can see, this is actually pretty flexible. I guess that's down to the warm weather today. It's sort of about 20 degrees or so, although I am inside a dank, dark garage, but it's a warm day. So I'll find out what the best way. I mean, like I say, when I've seen these done, the wax has been cracking off, but let's just try it with a rag and see. I mean, I don't know if you can see that. That does sort of clean up fairly easily. So there is a bit of work to be done. As I said, I've read a lot of mechanics don't like the fact that there's lots of wax particles that are flaking off onto the drivetrain, but that looks pretty clean to me there. So I'll clean the whole thing off, and then I'll let you know how it goes on once it's on the chain. Yeah, keep an eye out, and I'll tell you how I get on with this. Let's see if it makes me cleaner and faster. Anyway, thanks for watching that, guys. See you around.